I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 300. Can you believe we're episode 300 episodes into this thing? I tell you, I started this podcast with no expectations, no kind of hope at all, no really, I kind of thought I'd do about 6 of them and it would just kind of fade off. That's kind of how my life goes in that sense. But here we are 300 episodes later, a little over, 2.5, 3 years or so, 3.5 million downloads, crazy. It's all because of you. And I want to thank you, the listener, for pressing play. When you press play, that sends a signal back to me through the form of data that you're still tuned into your journey. And that to me means more than anything. The only reason I keep this going is because I know somewhere out there somebody is listening and someone finds the ray of hope that they needed. The ray of hope that I needed when I first started. And it really is just to know that we're all in this together, doing different things, doing what works, finding our own groove, and building a tribe at the same time is the most valuable thing, and that's what keeps me going. So thank you, all of you joining us on Facebook. Thank you for listening in the app, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Hey, thank you for being here. This episode is special. 300 episodes into this thing, and I can tell you a lot of people to thank. A lot of people made this happen. Lisa and Heather taking over the production side of it for me. Tremendous gift that they've given for you to be able to be a part of this. And so, Lisa and Heather, thank you for all that you've done. We would not be at episode 300 if it wasn't for the two of you taking the email box, curating the email, communicating back, and letting the world know that this thing is rocking and rolling and out there. So thank you for that. I want to kind of recap a little bit. For those of you, maybe you're coming into this podcast, somewhere in the middle and you haven't listened to episode 54, you haven't listened to episode 12, you have no idea who I am, you just found this, stumbled on Google somehow. I retired from the Air Force back in August, and so almost 8 months or so ago. And so there was a point in my career, a 27-year career as an Air Force guy, there was a point in my career where my weight just kind of got the best of me, right? And so I remember I have vivid memories of the very first PT test I ever took in the Air Force. The very first one after basic training, of course. I came back to my duty station and we had a PT test. I don't know, at the time I was probably 20 years old, 21 years old, somewhere in there. I, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, still very much an athlete. And they said, we got to do a 1.5 mile run. And I laughed like, really, that's how you're going to test us, is by a 1.5 mile run? I took off like a rabbit, ran a 1.5 mile, and I stood there and watched people running this 1.5 mile, continuing to run. And I'm like, what's taking them so long, right? And no concept of age, no concept of anything else. I was just a young kid who just didn't know any better. And I remember looking at a friend of mine and saying, the day that I can't run this PT test on a drop of a bucket, drop of a hat, shoot me. Well, it's funny how life hands you back your words. And so it wasn't long into that journey where my weight crept up. And so, unhealthy lifestyle after not caring, after not being focused, and so here we are 10 years or so into my career, and I'm struggling with this fitness test. The test that I said, hey, if I ever struggle with, go ahead and shoot me right now. And so here, it only took 10 years. So 10 years into my career, it's already at jeopardy. I'm struggling to take this fitness test. I had numerous opportunities to take different assignments and to move, and each time that came up, I had to have passing fit scores in order to prove that I was able to take on the new assignment. And, and after crazed diet and eating chicken for breakfast and all that crazy stuff, was able to always kind of keep it at bay. And so here we are, probably 17, 18 years into this career, and at the point where it's a little complicated, and so if you're not familiar with military terminology, I apologize. But the gist of it is if I didn't continue to pass my fitness test, they were going to kick me out, and it came to that. It really did. It got to the point where I knew I was on my complete last leg, and the writing was actually on the wall. They actually I was on a set of orders that they said they were going to give me a 1-year set of orders, and inadvertently, the person who cut the orders cut them for 3 years. And so in my brain, I was like, oh, I'm good, right? They gave me 3 years instead of the one that we had talked about. So my integrity got the best of me, and I went to my boss and said, hey, I know we talked about you're going to give me 1 year to do this, but I got my orders, and they say for 3. And he looked at me, and it was in a matter of days, the orders were curtailed, and the 1-year order had been issued. So the writing was on the wall. I had 1 year. No exceptions. I had to go through a little bit of work to amend this order that was done incorrectly. It would have been easy for them to say, no, we'll just leave it at 3 and see how you do. But they made it very clear that I had 1 year. I came to the Connect community. I came into the group and, not knowing what I needed to do and not really knowing if it was even possible to do. And I remember being in my office. I remember standing in my military uniform. I remember not wearing a belt that morning because, quite frankly, I couldn't connect the two ends in order to put it on. I remember reaching out prior to reaching out for help and really not getting what I needed. And so I felt lost. Here I was at the point of getting kicked out of something that I love so dearly. If you're watching this live, my entire studio is decorated in military memorabilia. I have an American flag that drapes the background because that is the foundation of who I am. Just above my microphone is a smaller American flag with my military rank is written right on the side of it, and all of my medals and decorations are there. Just over on the other side of me, all my military coins. Above that, all the awards and decorations. So really, to tell you that this was my life is an understatement. It truly was my entire life. It's the only thing I've ever known was to defend my country and proudly serve in the United States Air Force. And it's all coming to an end. Not on my terms by any stretch. And in this particular instance, it would have been a separation from the Air Force, no retirement, no medical for the rest of your life, no paycheck for the rest of your life, no pension, none of that, and not even a good discharge, I'm sure. And it would have broken me. It would have broken me more than anything else would have, and it would have been, humiliating to say the least. And so, therefore, knowing that the writing was on the wall, that the time was there, I come into WW again, and I post into the community, like I said, standing in my uniform, and I said, guys, I need some help. I had no expectation anyone would hear that. I had no expectation anyone would respond. I just knew that posting in a public forum or semi-public forum, right? Posting in that forum as a military member, overweight, on the verge of getting kicked out was less humiliating than the actual act of getting kicked out. So I was willing to try that and see what happened. Man, my phone blew up. It was about 8,000 of you instantaneously gravitated to that post somehow, right? I don't know how, and I can only surmise at this point is that there's a differentiator. Back in the day when I posted that, the community was largely, made up of women, and certainly not a ton of men in there. Of course there were. Very few military members on top. So really, as people are scrolling through the post and looking at pictures of other people, coming across a guy in uniform in the military, clearly overweight, got your attention. The cry for help was there, and you answered it. Again, 8,000 of you, some way, shape, or form said, "How can we help? How can we help? What can we do? Let's do this." And so I owe everything I have from this point forward to those of you who answered that call, and those of you who continue from this point forward to answer the call. And so we systematically went through the process. And so we said, let's just take it one day at a time. Right? I watched countless people, just tracking, just exercising, just moving a little bit. No one really moving mountains, but people really just showing up every single day to do whatever it is they needed to do that day to make sure they went to bed in the best shape they could, and they woke up in the next morning ready to do it again. Day by day. It was just one day at a time, one meal at a time in many cases. And so I started following along, and I started kind of, using a term of compliance. I said, okay, I can do this. And as I did, the snowball kind of picked up, and so many of you gravitated to say, hey, this journey feels inspiring. It's fun to watch you, Mike. It's fun to watch you as you go through here. And I tell you, and we rolled, and we went from March to September. I lost 91 pounds, completely changed my life. Found a calling inside there of watching other people in a very similar scenario to where I was. Maybe their military career isn't on the line. Maybe your health wasn't at stake like mine is. But deep down, if you're carrying any extra weight that you're not completely happy with, there's a little bit of shame. There's a little bit of guilt. There is this inside of you that you're just not happy with. I recognize that that's where I was, and I recognize that you guys pulled me out of that. And so from that moment on, I found that, okay, I have the ability to demonstrate that you don't have to live that way. You don't have to be here in that sense, right? You have the opportunity, the ability to do whatever you need to do, but you have to take responsibility for your own journey. So I love the opportunity to be there to witness it with you. And so 300 episodes into this thing, countless emails, countless Connect posts. I ran a report today on some of my social media, and I can't even see the numbers of how many people reach out throughout the course of the day, the week, the year. But it's awfully inspiring to know that you're out there and that you're doing exactly what you need to do as well. So thank you for being a part of this amazing community. So here we are, the journey continues, right? And so I celebrated out of the military. I retired on my terms. I knew that what I wanted to do was serve in this capacity, serve this community. And so there was a period of time where that took all of my focus, and some other things happened in my life where I really got real focused, and the scale kind of went back to my old habits, right? And so slowly everything started kind of, in a sense, falling apart. Now, at that point, my military career was safe. I had already retired. I've already collected my pension. Things are good there, but it just felt too routine. And again, this community comes out and says, hey, Mike, we got you. Let's continue to do this. And so we continue together on this journey of health and this journey of self-discovery and this journey of doing whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves. So as I sit here, actually, episode 300, what that represents to me is all the tears, all the celebration, all the pain, all the heartache, all the 1 pound losses, all the 10 pound losses. Just amazing community. Someone asked me the day, they said, Mike, how did you get to 300 podcast episodes? And I said, well, I recorded episode number 1, and then I recorded episode number 2. And then jokingly, I recorded episode number 3, and I just really never quit recording an episode. And so here we are, episode 300. So it's the exact same thing when you say, how did you lose this amount of weight? Well, I just lost 1 pound, and then I just kept going, and I just lost another one, and then I just kept going, and I lost another one. And so the process is the same, and the message that I want to convey to you as we embark on this here right now is don't quit. No matter what, don't quit. If you just start with one step and you just continue to move and make progress, you'll get to wherever it is you're destined to be, and probably a little beyond. So again, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of this amazing journey with me. It's just an honor to be able to walk this journey with you. I say that from the absolute bottom of my heart. It truly is my honor to walk with you as you find yourself, as we find each other, holding each other's hands and getting it done. So keep up the amazing work. I believe in you. I believe in you so strongly with such conviction that it is just impossible for me to say it any other way. As I watch so many people completely change their life, it is absolutely no hesitation for me to say I believe in you, because I know what you're trying to do is possible. I know it. And if you don't feel it yet, that's okay. allow me to believe it for you. Stay engaged in our community. Stay engaged in the podcast. I will record another 300 as we go forward. So they'll always be your wingman on this journey. Out of Newark, Delaware, Tracey writes in with the first email. She says, I'm sure you're getting a lot of emails for this very special episode, but I wanted to send in what I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating that I didn't give up on myself. I'm celebrating that what I've learned, I don't have to be perfect. I am celebrating being persistent and focused. I'm celebrating learning to make adjustments to the tools I have and the ones that I've needed in order to continue my journey of health and fitness and happiness. I'm celebrating enjoying things more and having more confidence. I'm celebrating those who have been supporting me through my journey and grateful for the love and support that I've received. I'm celebrating episode 300. What a journey. Congrats and thank you to all who've made these 300 episodes possible. I can't think of a better group to celebrate with. Tracey. Oh, Tracey, thank you for that. You are incredibly inspiring as well, and it's so nice to see you and engage with you and chat with you inside the other communities that we do. And so keep up the amazing work. You truly are worthy of every bit of celebration that you're doing. Tracey, thanks for that. Grand Junction, Colorado, Judy writes in for the Book of Awesome. She says, I've kept 70 pounds off for 4 years. Judy, that's amazing. Congratulations on completely changing your life. You guys, for those of you who don't know, the Book of Awesome is a book, and what I'll do after the show is I will take the time and I'll write this into the episode, but into the book. But I have a book that I like to just, I want to know what you're celebrating in that sense, and sometimes we don't take time to take the inventory and write it down. So I write it down on your behalf, and that's what the Book of Awesome is all about. So Judy, you are going to go down into the Book of Awesome for 70 pounds off for 4 years. Amazing job. You've given yourself the gift of health. You've completely changed your life. You've taken control. You've taken responsibility, and you've gotten it done. Judy, again, congratulations. Out of Stamford, Connecticut, Amy writes in. She says, Dear Mike, 300 episodes. What a milestone. What a celebration. I've listened to them all, many of them more times than I can count, and they are a part of a solid foundation I've built to be successful on my journey. I was already on my journey when we met virtually, so I had many routines in place, but never a podcast that spoke directly to me. Never from someone who understood exactly what I meant when I wanted that extra little bite, knowing very well I was no longer hungry. I have my favorites as well as my go-to episodes when I know exactly what I need to hear at that moment. I've also written into the show several times, and when I listen to my stories again, I realize how much I benefit by having the courage to reach out and ask for help and guidance, even if it's only to be reassured that I'm doing the right thing. Having you as my wingman motivates me. It gives me the drive that I need to be successful. I want you to see that success so you know your efforts are working. Even though I know I'm putting in the effort every meal, every snack, every day, your openness and encouragement makes the journey fun and exciting. It keeps me wanting to be better, knowing it's out there for me to get as well. I can't imagine my journey without your podcast. I have no plans on quitting, so keep them coming. I would say my celebration today is confidence. I know what I want, and I'm well on my way. I wrote out my answers to the 5 questions again several months ago. I have specific, measurable goals and a timeline so I don't become complacent. I explained in detail on paper why I want them. I read them every morning and every night, knowing all that makes the journey easier, even though we all know the journey itself is not easy. Thank you, as always, for being my wingman and reminding us to never quit when things aren't as perfect, and life happens. That perfect day will never come. We each need to make it happen on our own, and you are a big part of keeping that spark alive. I wish you continued success and focus. Amy. Amy, I promise you I am not quitting this journey at all. And so here we are, episode 300. We're going to go up to 600 at least. We're going to go to 900 after that. We're just going to keep on rolling because no matter where you are in this journey, things like what you just said here and what Tracey said earlier is that this community, this connection, and understanding each other is the most valuable piece of this podcast. Very few episodes here in the first 300. I don't have a ton of guests on the show, right? And I can't think of back maybe just a handful, if that, less than a dozen. And so the powerful thing is everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something inside. And just like you said, Amy, if you take the courage to reach out and ask for help, you may find that you're not alone, and you may find that there's a group of people who get it. And you may find a podcast host who speaks directly to you. You may find someone who will walk a 5K with you. And you may find someone who gets dropped off in the wrong parking lot with you. And you may find someone who walks a 5K before the 5K because we were in the wrong spot together. That's what the power of this entire community is that we make connections that we probably wouldn't normally make. We have something so great in common, but yet if we don't take that first step, if we don't take the courage and reach out, we may never recognize it. But you clearly have done that, Amy, and it has paid off tremendously for you. It's paid off tremendously for me. It's paid off tremendously for every single person who's listening. So thanks for writing in, and you have completely put in the effort. You have completely changed, your life as you go through this. I've seen the change in you, and so I know you had to have noticed it as well. So knowing that your celebration right now is confidence, boy, that just makes me smile, right? There's so many things on this journey that we can celebrate, but that is probably a big one. When we can finally go through life knowing that we're doing the right things and we feel confident about doing them, it's the greatest gift we can give ourselves. And you have made that happen. I'm glad to have walked with you. I'm glad to be your wingman as this journey. But as I've said many, many times, I cannot physically make the change for you. I can only tell you it's possible. I can only tell you I believe in you. I can only watch you do it and encourage you and bring you into a community of people who want you to succeed. But with all that, it takes you to make it happen. That's the responsibility piece of this journey. You have owned it, and you continue to do an amazing job. Amy, thank you for your amazing note. Keep up the amazing work. And most importantly, thank you for your friendship. I truly appreciate it. Out of Santa Rosa, California, Lee writes in, says, Dear FatDag, hey, my life has become great again since I began my WW journey. Before then, the last time I can honestly say I love my life was probably 1984 or 1985. Things were good enough to survive, but not great enough to be really happy. Since I started my journey October 20th, 2009, much has changed. I am now able to ascend and descend the stairs without fear of falling. I am able to walk on a sidewalk without the constant fear of car number 10 hitting me. I was able to learn how to make plan-friendly choices that best foster healthy weight loss and healthy weight maintenance. This was done mostly by the realization early on that one package does not equal one serving. Who knew? Now, too, I've evolved from a rather shy member, even though I always sit in the front row, to a leader at workshops. This has transgressed into other parts of my life beyond WW as well. Let me do the math now. The date this airs will be day 3,864 of my journey, as well as that day on my journey. I also have that many days tracked on paper. My start weight on October 20th, 2009 was 309 pounds, and the last check-in, the day before I wrote this email, was 182.6. I have removed 126.4 pounds from my body. Not only was I removing weight, but I've kept it off for 4 years, consistently weighing in below my goal weight every time since I hit goal April 20th, 2016. The day I walked into the studio with my friend 2009 was the best day in my life. It led me to the success I have now. My day 4,000 is coming up soon. Lee, man, you continue to be an incredible inspiration, and I think a lot of us have, we're familiar with your journey, and we know that it's been, different for you in such a way. I can't even imagine what you've gone through, what you're going through, but what I can tell you right now is all of the stuff, the tracking on paper, the the activity that you get, the pounds that you removed, all of that, I'm proud of you. And I'm going to put that aside as I say I'm proud of you for that. So know that what I say next, I'm extremely proud of you for all of that. As I read your email here, I heard something different this time. I heard something that you haven't shared before. And I was able to listen a little differently than to the rest of your journey, which I think I know fairly well. Knowing that that you found that life is happy again, and that you found that your life has become great again, to put it in your words, and to really get to the point where you've gone from being a shy member to being able to participate fully in life. That is, to me, what this whole journey is about. You know, if we can give that, the scale wouldn't matter, the tracking wouldn't matter, the weight wouldn't matter. If we could get every single person to that place mentally, the rest of the journey would certainly take shape as well. But that is the piece right there that we're chasing. We're chasing a life that we know is out there, that we can feel good about ourselves, that we can say, you know, I'm making the right choices, and really I'm taking care of myself, and life is good again. Life is great again. You know, not that it really ever wasn't, but it's noticeably different when we bring in a level of confidence that we can walk up and down stairs that maybe we couldn't do before, and there's other things in our life that we're now able to do because being together in this community, finding your voice and finding a community of people who get it, lets you know that you're not alone, and gives you that courage to take one more step. One more step, you just go, okay, I can do this. And you have demonstrated that time and time and time again beautifully, and you are an amazing wingman. I thank you for every bit of your participation in the community. Your words often quite often spot on, and you're doing an amazing job. So, Lee, keep up the amazing work. Thank you for being a wingman. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for taking care of your journey as well. Next up, an email from Jennifer. Jennifer says, "Dear Mike and Janine, I'd like to share my good news with you. My dissertation proposal was approved this morning, so I'm good to start researching and writing. Definitely a non-scale victory. Best, Jennifer." Jennifer, that will go in the book of awesome as well, because you're awesome. It's just so good news. I don't know if you guys have noticed the theme in this show, but there is an overwhelming display of just self-confidence. Man, that is just, I want to bottle that piece up and go after that. So absolutely. The next email from this show comes in out of Greece. Yes, Greece. And it's from our good friend Karen. Karen's joining us live in the Facebook group as well, but I want to read this one because, well, I just want to read it. Hi, Mike. This should have actually been my 2-year anniversary email, but as you asked us last Wednesday to contribute to the 300th episode podcast, we want to know what you're celebrating. I decided to send that in first. So what is it that I'm celebrating? Here is my 300-point celebration list, which I'm sharing with you with great joy. Each reason has been given 10 celebration points, which in total makes my list equal to the number of episodes on the Wise Advice podcast. I'm celebrating. Number 1, having lost 115 pounds in 2 years. Who would have thought that 2 years ago? Number 2, being a member of the Wingman community. My 3rd, having found the right program which will eventually bring me to my goal weight. Having no trouble putting on the seatbelt when getting into a car. Number 5, knowing that I can actually look forward to a comfortable flight next time I'm visiting my mother country, Denmark, because I won't have to squeeze into my seat. Number 6, being able to tie my shoes without any help. Number 7, looking forward to going swimming and not being ashamed of wearing a bathing suit. Being able to buy clothes and shop because now I can actually find something in my size. Being able to sit with my legs crossed. Wearing tights because my legs have changed a lot. I can actually see that my kneecaps exist now. Number 11, exploring and reminding myself that, oh yes, there are bones under that fat layer of my body. Number 12, not feeling swollen all the time. 13, spending quality time with the precious granddaughter without getting exhausted. 14, being able to exercise with great joy for 30 to 60 minutes a day. 15, not taking any asthma or blood pressure medicine anymore. Being a good example of healthy lifestyle to my family and my friends. Hearing my husband say, "Wow, you are so beautiful today." Not feeling embarrassed when someone pays me a compliment. Feeling self-confident when being among other people. Being proud of having the strength to keep going. Being able to encourage other fellow travelers. Having found friends who I regard as my online family. Number 23, not being ashamed of having pictures taken. Feeling attractive again. Connecting and being able to stay accountable to people on the other side of the Atlantic. Having the strength to stay true to myself and track everything, even on the bad days, good or bad. Everything is written down. 27, going from a size 32 down to a size 18. Isn't that just amazing? 28, not feeling even close to my 54 years of age. Number 29, being proud of not giving up. And last but not least, 30th, knowing that I make my sons proud every single day because, as they say, "Mom, you've been able to do something which most people consider impossible." Oh yes, I'm definitely celebrating life and being able to contribute to the 300 episode show with these 300 celebration points of mine. It means so much to me. Thank you, Mike, for bringing everyday inspiration into my life, and thanks to the rest of you for not making me feel alone on this lifetime journey of mine, even though we live on different continents. Never give up, my friends. Remember to celebrate every single step on the way and be proud. Lots of love and happy thoughts sent from Greece, Karen. Karen, that list is absolutely incredible. And as I was reading your list, some of those same things were ticking through my head. And there are things that you can only write down if you've experienced it. And what I mean by that is that, some of those things are just internal feelings. We can't describe them. We can't recreate them. They just show up and we get to experience them. And you can explain it to somebody, but you can only really explain it to someone else who's been there. Someone who isn't there, they have the opposite feeling and they know that it would be nice, but they don't truly know how it's actually going to feel when they get there. That's what we're chasing all along, is we're chasing this feeling that's a little bit unknown. But as you listen to that list, there are things on there that your head nodding, going, "Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that." But I'll be honest with you, at this point in time, you don't truly know how amazing it's going to be to write it down until you get there. When you get there, it's a feeling unlike any other. And because you've done it. And you've taken care of it on your own, and you finally got to the point where you're like, I've given myself the gift back. I've taken care of my health. I've taken care of me. And my reward is confidence, is smiling, it's health. It's your son looking at you and saying, "Mom, I'm proud of you." Boy, what wouldn't we give to have that conversation over and over and over again? You've earned it. You can't buy it anywhere. That entire list of things written down, the feeling part of it, you cannot buy. What you have to do, folks, is you have to understand what it is you're chasing. You have to understand what's truly at stake. You have to feel like you're up against the ropes, and whether your career is on the line, whether your health is on the line, whether your ego is on the line, whatever it is, something right now is on the line. You're trading something for a meal that maybe you don't exactly want. You're borrowing from your life expectancy as you're paying the debts of today by not taking care of yourself. And when you finally figure that part out, when you finally say to yourself, "No more. My health is the most important part of this journey. The pride internally that I want to display is the most important part of this journey. There is nothing that's going to stop me. There is nothing that's in my way. All the obstacles simply become stepping stones to the path to success and I'm going to get it done. Karen, we could put stepping stones from Greece all the way here to Indianapolis, and you would bounce on every single one of them, and I would give you a great big social distance hug when you got here. I'm truly proud of you, truly honored to walk this journey with you. It's incredibly inspiring to read that list, and if you folks don't, I want you to go back and re-listen to it and think of them. Which one of them means the most to you? Which one of those do you want to feel? Which of those are you feeling? Which of those are you celebrating? Which ones are you able to say, I did it? And you feel incredibly powerful and prideful for doing so. As we wrap up episode 300, I want to know what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com. Click on the Wise Advice podcast to send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. You heard that list, right? I want that list from every single one of you. I want to know, what is it that you're most proud of? You've got to get it documented. You've got to get it written down. You have to see it in black and white so you know you've done that. And you know you can do that. And you know that you're going to do that. You understand what the goal is. You understand what the prize is. You understand what's at stake, and you have decided and committed to changing your life. That's what writing into this podcast does. It's that written affirmation that you are doing something different to get results you haven't gotten before. Whether it's maintaining a goal, whether it's accomplishing a goal. Writing it down is that affirmation that says, I am doing this. And when you send it in here and we share it with thousands of people, that doesn't hurt either. I want you to share it. Email in on air at fatdag.com. Lisa and Heather do an amazing job curating the content to help produce this show. But it takes you telling us what's going on. And we piece it together to bring another 300 episodes into your car, onto your walk path, onto your running trail, onto your hike, into your living room, wherever you are. I promise you, you're not alone. That's going to do it for this time. Remember, losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. From Jacob, editing remotely, Lisa, Heather, from the content production team, from every single person who's ever listened to a single episode, who's ever shared a single episode, who's ever been a part of this community, whether you know it or not, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Together, we wish you good focus.